Okay, is that my computer or somebody else's computer? I'm hearing like a doo-doo-doo.
I haven't heard a doo-doo-doo.
I haven't heard anything either, girl.
Okay.
I'm hoping this is
Nope, it's mine.
What's in your Chardonnay over there?
Right.
Cabernet.
Cabernet
Okay.
Good shit up.
Hi, this is Kristin for Harlem, also known as KRJ. I'm running for New York City Council District 9. What's up, aunties? What's brewing today?
Introducing Auntie TT.
Ask Your Aunties, the journey of activism.
And the new iPhone 12. So get your cups ready for Minoritea Report. Well, hello. Good evening.
Hey, y'all.
Or
What
good
up?
morning,
What up?
whenever you're listening to it.
Afternoon. Good potty break, whatever.
Good potty break. Listening while you're at work. Right, exactly. Community. We have an awesome episode. And I think every episode is awesome personally, but we have a really awesome episode today. We're going to hop right into it already. We have Kristin, and we call it Kristin for Harlem, but we have Kristin from Harlem. She is running for District 9 City Council right now. And so we're going to get all the juicy bits and how to run and the pros and the cons and the highs and lows. But before we even get that, what is your auntie name for today?
So my auntie name is AunTea TT. Because
hey.
Love it.
I'm sipping on some chai tea here.
Love it.
What kind of tea? What kind of tea you sipping on?
It's chai tea with almond milk and sweet and low.
Okay.
Okay.
Cotton candy, sweet
and
low.
Let me see that juicy roll.
I mean, you can't say sweet and low without the rest of the lyrics. So, Kristin, okay, so City Council. What made you run? Like, because that's a lot. That's a lot to run for public office.
It is. Well, so there's a bunch of reasons, right? There's a lot of intellectual reasons. So I could start with those. You know, I've been an activist for a long time, always been involved in the political scene. Didn't think I would run for office because I pretty much crossed off anyone who was a politician as someone who was, you know, corrupt and not really for the people and ego tripping and exploitative, and, you know, politics is generally whack. I pretty much saw myself as being just not just, but a organizer and an activist and someone who was protesting outside the system and just, you know, sort of doing my thing in community with others, not as a politician. So, but the new Congress really inspired me, seeing Ilhan Omar, AOC, Rashid Tlaib, and just seeing these powerful women of color run for office on radical platforms and win and do the thing while in office and be, you know, fighting the good fight. That really inspired me that it's possible to have some leaders that are not the lesser of two evils, but actually some leaders who are people I really want to lead. And so I found myself looking around my community for that. And that intellectual reason sort of jived with another big cause for me, which is around decarceration. And it was a couple years back, there was the vote for new jails in the New York City Council. Now, I don't know how much you all follow local New York politics, but basically—
DeJuan's up there in Harlem.
Yeah. So basically, it was de Blasio's plan to close Rikers, but only by building these 4 new jails in other parts of the city. And it's $10 billion being allocated to these new jails. And so—
Meanwhile, our streets are crumbling. Our schools are underfunded.
Exactly. Thank
10
you.
billion. Ooh, girl.
Where they find that money at?
That
all
part.
the things we could do with that money. All the things.
Right.
And our city council representative for District 9 for Harlem voted for this. They voted for the new jails, voted for expansion of the prison industrial complex. And so that just made me feel like, okay, well, something has got to give over here, and this has got to go. Because frankly, I don't care how much pressure there is from the mayor, and I don't care where other districts are falling on this. Harlem is not voting for new jails, okay? This majority Black district, with the history and legacy and culture we have, we are not voting to continue to incarcerate our own people. It's ridiculous.
For profit now too.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So, and so I got in the race as a challenger, mainly because, you know, the leadership has to change, that issue in particular, but there's a whole array of issues around the city budget and not getting funding to the schools, not getting funding to sanitation, even sanitation department. We in Harlem are getting less trash pickups. We actually had the removal of trash cans from our district, and areas that are majority white and downtown districts get more trash pickups and all the more services. So we're just seeing the environmental racism, the structural racism, let's call it what it is. Racism.
Say their names.
Absolutely.
It's totally unacceptable. And, you know, we need a fireball in the seat. And when I looked around and didn't see anyone doing it, I said, okay, well then that's going to be me. Then I'm going to step into that space, because that's the leadership I think we need in our community. And so those are like all the intellectual reasons and all the political reasons.
What's the petty reason?
I wasn't gonna say petty. I was gonna say the spiritual. The other reason is a spiritual reason. I do consider myself a woman of faith, and I do feel called. And it was actually a moment of meditation that sort of pulled it all together for me. And this came up as a thing that I should run. So, you know, so I know people have different views on that. People have different beliefs, and that's all good, you know, but I do follow what I believe are, you know, signs and steps, and I do my own spiritual practice. And I, like I said, I do feel called. So that is the number one reason. But there's all those intellectual and political reasons as well, of course.
I mean, once they kind of combine like that, like you say, like you get that that moment of clarity and almost that moment of like relief, like, okay, you know what, I feel good, I could do this then. Like everything is aligning accordingly.
And then it's also too like hard, especially being like, I'm sure, you know, coming back from the activist only background, and like, you know, and that's what kind of got me too, because I feel the same way about politics too. But then I started thinking, like, once you start to understand the system, like the real way to only blow up the system is like getting inside of the system and then making the change within inside. And, you know, like, I'm all for changing, and I believe the system has to go. We need to it needs to be changed because it was built for white people, and it's not like that anymore. So it needs to be changed. But it's nice to see radical thinkers actually getting in the ring with these crooked people and being like, enough is enough, you know, and we need to start changing and getting in the ring with them versus being them like, I'm gonna catch you outside. They ain't coming outside. I'm gonna go in your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how we have to bring that mentality now to get things changed. So I really love to hear that so much.
Yeah, that speaks directly to my transition and my sort of growth in the space of politics from, you know, when I was younger, and I know I'm still young, that's what people say. I say that. When I say that, every time I say that, people are like, how old are you? Okay. I'm 33, which I keep insisting to folks is a real age.
32. I'm with you, sis. I'm with you.
Black don't crack at all.
And, but when I was in college and really those couple years right out of college, I had a very much a different attitude towards politics than I do now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that was exactly what you were saying, that I just was like, oh, let's rail at the machine,
right?
And it's just realizing like the machine is built to withstand all of that. You're just making noise that doesn't bother the machine at all.
That part. And that's when that growth happens, you know.
Right. And if she's
been talking a lot about,
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, we've just been talking a lot about, you know, obviously we have the, you know, the federal, you know, things that are happening at the federal level with, you know, the presidential election and things like that. But we've been also talking about how do you affect meaningful change for you, and that's getting involved in local elections. And this is one of the reasons why we were super excited, you know, me selfishly, because you're like, I'm part of the hood, so I'm in West Harlem, but you know, especially, you know, just having the opportunity to talk to somebody who is, you know, enough with like the lip service, like you're literally putting your feet in the fire. You know, there's a lot of people that are posting, yeah, I'm one of them, like posting and, you know, and talking to talk, but, you know, like you're actually getting in the game. I'm just curious, you know, what has been the public's response, you know, to your getting in the race and you sharing your views about your platform and hopefully getting people involved and excited?
Yeah, it's that's a great question. There's definitely been mixed response. So I will go into how awesome it's been, because it has mostly been awesome. But just, you know, reality check, we do have people who are racist, we have people who are homophobic, we have people who are xenophobic, we have all of that going on. And when I put up my campaign Facebook page, there were trolls, there were comments. I very openly identify as queer, and I put that everywhere. I put it everywhere because sometimes, you know, people assume because I am a cis woman and then I am femme, right? So if it's not stated, people will assume, right? And I'm very proud of all that I am, which includes my sexuality. So I state all of it, you know, and you know, Black, queer, woman, abolitionist, democratic socialist, third generation Harlemite.
All right, now you better preach it. Come on
yes.
now.
You know, I say all of it. And then people are like, well, why you gotta put that in there? And, you know, and there was a lot of pushback around that. And then there have been some people who, like I said, were straight up homophobic and, you know, sexist and all of that. So, but we keep moving right along, because they're there and we know they're there, but that's exactly what we need to change, right? That's like the new world we're building, where everyone gets to exist and be human and be loved and be valued and get every part of their humanity seen. So that being said, a lot of the response has been really good and that's really hard. And it's, you know, almost like what you were saying earlier about alignment. You know, I do feel that. I mean, people have come sort of out of the woodwork in different ways to support this campaign. And it's been very, very cool. You know, there's a graphic artist named Bradley who made a hope poster, took one of my photos and made a hope poster and designed it, and then just sent it over. Like, nobody asked him.
Yeah. Oh, that's what's up.
Nobody asked him. We you know, we're grassroots, so we definitely didn't have a budget. We didn't like commission the art piece, like nothing. And he just, and he was just like, I just felt inspired and wanted to do something. And so he just like,
see, that would make me boo-hoo. I'd be like, oh, that's so sweet.
It's so great. And you know, and then there have been store owners who have been supporting, and they I started with just like putting one poster up just in one shop, because she was like, oh, do you have any posters? And I'm like, actually, yes, I have a poster. because Bradley had sent a poster.
Right.
Yeah.
So we sent it and we put it in the shop, and then it sort of grew from there. And now we're up to almost 40 different local businesses that have this poster.
That's awesome.
And
That's
you know,
awesome.
and the whole campaign is full of stories like that, and it's
That's
been
dope.
great. It's been really
I'm
inspiring.
And if she wins, by the way, she would be the first, by the way,
Yes.
LGBTQIA plus member from that district ever elected. Like
District 9, yep.
Houseway,
That's
like
crazy.
in 2020, that's still a 1st. That's
Mhm.
wild in New York City, you know. But that's incredible. That is incredible. Like again with the alignment being, I mean, obviously with Minority Report, we always talk about how we're multiple minorities,
Yes.
and there's just levels to that, and the pressure that probably comes out of that, but also the joy of knowing, hey, I could break some more ceilings, some more doors, bust, you know, kick down the door, waving the fofo, whatever, you know, in 2020. And so I'm so here for it. I'm so here for it. But
I'm curious. I'm curious on what you do to stay centered in all of this, because I know that it's not an easy journey. You know, to every pro there's a con, and when you get like those trolls on the internet, how do you turn that into something that empowers you? Because I know there are other people out there who probably want to get involved, but maybe scared off because they don't want to get in it with people. Because I know my views, you don't want Auntie Hennessy running the politics, because
No, you
I'm
don't.
not filtering nothing. You don't get the claps in a speech. It's gonna be, and no, sir, not today.
Not today.
No, man, we ain't doing this.
We're gonna have
Got
to
the
convert
wrong
this
one.
election budget to the
security.
the bail budget.
Right, exactly. You know, so I'm curious because I think about, because I would love to be more involved. You know, like I helped some friends organize a protest this year on Juneteenth, and it was amazing. And I kind of felt the calling then, if that makes sense. You know, like I felt like, man, I want to get more involved. But then I think about, you know, some of my skeletons in my closet. I thought about my mouth, and I was like, I need to be in the background. But do you have any suggestions on or tell us how you cope with that?
Well, first, on the note of being involved, everyone could do something, you know, and that's something AOC has said too, that, you know, everyone has a place in the movement, and she's absolutely correct. Like everyone has a role, has a place, has something they can give, because change is never one person, right? Like
Absolutely.
even if I win the election, people might be like, oh my gosh, how'd you do it? And the answer would be, I didn't do it. We did it. A collective did it. A whole bunch of community members did it. A whole bunch of volunteers did it. A whole bunch of people donating. A whole bunch of people going out. Change is always collective, you know.
I love that.
But in terms of centering, well, I chose my auntie name as Auntie TT, right? I got my little cup of chai tea here, and you know, I try to just sort of sip tea and sip tea and center in that sort of way. I am pretty spiritual, so I will meditate, and that always helps me. So if there's a lot going on, if I just take 5 minutes and do a meditation, that always helps center me. I pray. I'm Christian and Buddhist, so I chant and pray, and those things
Beautiful.
center me as well. So that, yeah, you know, it's a lot of spiritual stuff. And we don't, I don't know. I don't know if we talk about that a lot in our political leaders, or if political leaders have a tremendous amount of that going on. But I mean, what we need is moral fortitude, right? So we need spiritual foundations, and we need that sort of grounding in the leadership, you know.
That's so true. What's been the hardest, and what's been maybe the easiest of kind of stepping into this arena? And maybe a better question of that is just like, are there certain facades that you thought were real that aren't? And then are there certain ones that you thought were fake that you're like, oh man, okay, I see why they have to do X, Y, Z now.
Yeah, definitely. I think the hardest piece has definitely been the time management. I have gotten a lot of support with that, so that's really great. I have, you know, we have a campaign assistant named Cypress, who is great at keeping me on track. And that's been really helpful, but that's definitely been the hardest thing, because there's a lot of like, as a candidate, there's a lot of things you could be doing at any one moment with your time that would help the campaign in any number of different ways. And so figuring out, all right, well, what's the highest priority and when, and then also just scheduling and not having conflicts. Like, I'm actually not allowed to touch my calendar anymore. Like, because every time it's like, you don't get to schedule yourself. Because when I do it, it's inevitably a double booking, and so that's definitely been the hardest thing. The easiest thing has actually been, I would say the easiest thing has actually been dealing with the different perspectives and attention in different spaces. And I actually thought that might be difficult, but I come really well prepared, I've realized. It took me some time to realize that, but I'm actually I'm a survivor of DV. We are in Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yes.
And so I will put that out there. And, you know, that part of my life was very hard in a lot of ways. But I also got from that, like, so much of that self-love and fortitude, that it's very hard for me to internalize the external criticisms. And so that's something that I thought would be hard that has actually been relatively easy. And yeah, and it's not even necessarily like being cold or, oh, well, I don't care what you think. Well, no, you know, like, people front in that way. It's not that. We all care what other people think. Like, we're human, it happens.
Yeah.
But it's more that deeper understanding that hurt people, and it's and that deeper understanding of, like, okay, this is coming from some place of pain or some place of false expectation or some overinflated ego that's due to the system we have, or, you know, whatever it is. And so not taking that on personally. And that's been easy, and I thought it wouldn't be.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
But
what would you say
the politicians have to drop this. The politicians popping in and out of places. So before, I would look at that and I would say, oh, that's so rude. Like, you come in, you're here for 15, 20 minutes, then you leave. And
gone.
You didn't stay for the rest of the event.
Right.
You know, you know, I try not to do that as badly as I have seen others. I really do. Like, if I'm speaking at a march, then I'll go to march, like, not just come and speak like I'm at the protest, I'm marching, you know. But I definitely see more now how that happens than I did before.
It's like booked in business, like, so many people want your time, so many places to be to represent your community. That's just like, oh man, I think that would be the hardest for me, because I would feel that pull of, like, oh, I feel like I didn't give maybe all my attention, all of, you know, but it's just like, you almost can't, honestly, you know, even though I know that, but it's just like that, oh, so I think that would probably be the hardest for me. So that's interesting that that you understand that now.
I wouldn't struggle with that at all.
Like,
I show up
I can
for
see
5 minutes. Like, do I got your vote? Okay, thank you very much. I will be out of your hair so you can get back to doing whatever you was doing.
Grand opening, grand closing, all
No,
the
that
same
would be-
night.
That would be so hard for me. That's
Like,
funny.
got you. Okay, we vote.
Okay, I got that vote. Okay,
Bring from the outside window.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Kristin, what would you say? What do you say to voters today? People who are of voting age, whether they're in your district or outside of your district, given all the stuff that's going on, you know, and just in front of us today. What do you want to say to voters?
I would say please go out and vote, and please go out and make a vote that makes sense. Cast a vote that makes sense, because I say this coming from a lot of young and lefty circles, because that's me, that's my background. I am radical. A lot of us are not impressed. I'm not with the two choices.
Yeah.
It's not impressive, and it's very discouraging, and it's very easy to just sort of unplug from the whole thing, but we really cannot. And there really is always a difference, but especially a really big difference this time. And so I would encourage people to actually, go out and vote, and to not do, the reason I say the vote that makes sense.
Because Kanye ain't it.
Yeah, Kanye is not it.
It's not like,
He'll take
He
your
wasn't at the
money.
debate, so.
Like,
But that's one of the reasons why I appreciate.
People want to make, like, come on.
Right.
But that's one of the reasons why I appreciate folks like you who are young enough to be relevant to those folks who are just getting of voting age, because we don't, in our households, specifically in Black households, but in a lot of households, and certainly within the educational system, we don't learn. Yes, we learn about social studies, and we learn the different branches, and that, you should vote, and some of us grew up with saying the Pledge of Allegiance, but that doesn't equate to being an informed voter, and there's not enough conversations about what that means. And I love the fact that over the last 4 years there have been so many people from our communities, young people, being active and vocal and using whatever talents that that they've been given and that they possess, whether it's their creative capability, their dance capability, their social media capability, to talk about the importance of being active and voting, and not being so cavalier about it, and then also being a complainer when whatever you hoped was going to happen doesn't happen because you didn't participate.
Yeah. And then they say too, like, this year is the year we've seen the most Black women running for different offices on all levels across the country too. It's so great to see our people really get out there, especially our Black women, because they're gonna lead us to victory. Let's be honest, when they say the future is female, like, it really is, because most men is trash. Let's just call it a spade.
Let's just call a spade a spade.
There's definitely a correlation between the current state of the world and the overrepresentation of men in terms of how we got here.
Right.
That's so true. So, like, with all this focus on the debates and things like that, so you're running now. And so when you see Biden versus oh boy and the debacle that was, or obviously by the time this episode comes out, Kamala versus the other oh boy will have already happened. When you see that, how would you have approached it differently for hopefully a different kind of outcome? Obviously, oh boy is hard to, he kind of just overtakes everything. We've seen it time and time again. But are there pointers that you would be like, oh, I would have done this, or that you've come across now running that you're like, okay, I know what to do now?
Well, I mean, it's hard for me to say exactly, because I haven't been in many debates. I did, I guess I guess I've been in plenty of debates on the street.
Right.
And the
Right.
streets
Well,
count.
the stakes are high.
Okay, come
The
on.
stakes are
Because
high.
everyone ain't got street sense, so that counts. Okay.
Yep.
It's so true.
But I would say, you know, so we haven't seen the VP debate yet, but going off of the first debate, which was just, you know, wow, what a train wreck. I would say that I really feel like either one of two things have to be chosen as a debater. So either, especially in the case with Trump, you know, either you're gonna come with the fire because Trump is, you know, being Trump like, so you're gonna just fire back and fire strong and fire and be fiery, or you're going to rise above and you're going to do the go high, you know, Michelle Obama type of poise thing, you know. I do feel like Biden, and listen, I'm voting for the man, okay? But
absolutely.
I feel like he did not do either of those. And so I don't feel like, while he won the debate, I don't feel like it actually pushed the needle very much on anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, like, if someone's gonna talk about your family, you gotta stand your ground. Like, don't let somebody disrespect your family. And I'm like, and that really bothered me, because I mean, like, if he ain't gonna stand up for his own son, it's, I mean, like, damn, like, when you at the UN, are you gonna stand up for all of us then at that point? Like, I feel like that was a very, like, let down moment. But I'm a wig snatcher.
But the other thing that we have to remember is, like, there's a lot of things that are going on in Biden's mind in terms of, like, the feedback that he's received from, like, you know, from his own prep team, being aware of how certain behaviors show up. So, like, if he would have just stormed off or he would have just popped off, you know, that could have negatively impacted him, you know, in his campaign, you know, in so many different ways. So it was kind of a lose-lose situation. It was a lose-lose situation. You know,
but God's working. He gave him COVID.
I feel
so
like
they say.
But I feel like he was going for the, you know, more poised, more presidential, rise above side of it. Which, listen, I don't discount the play, though. I would have definitely gone with the fire personally.
Same.
Y'all can't be in the same room.
I'm with you.
We figured this out right now. Y'all can't be in the same room.
Especially once you start attacking family, like, I agree. Like, that's a freebie. I get to say whatever I want.
Whatever the hell I want to say now. Yeah. Oh, you want to go there? And that's even coming from Carell. Like, I'm not that spirit at all. But that even Carell has a line where I'm like, okay, okay.
You want to talk about
go there? Oh, my poodle.
Right, seriously. It's like, okay. Auntie Petty will come out real quick.
And if you are going to rise above, then you can't go and say, you know, oh, shut up and be quiet and we won't be quieter and all this stuff, because then you're not rising above, right? Yeah. So that's what I mean when I'm saying I think he needed to pick one of the two. And like, you know, you can't.
I think there was an opportunity for him to call Chris Wallace out, though. Because I would have been like, you know, for every single time, Chris Wallace, for every time he interrupts me, then you need to give me more time.
Yes.
So interrupted me. So when am I going to speak? So when am I going to speak, Chris Wallace? So when am I, like, I would have put it on him, because you knew coming in that he was going to try to bogart the conversation. You know what I mean? So instead of just trying to, like, I get that he was trying to get some of his points out, but, like, if both people are talking, nobody's hearing anything.
Nothing.
Yeah, so that's fair. And it was very poorly moderated. I mean, terrible moderation. I was like, okay. So
I wonder what kind of Christmas gifts Chris Wallace is going to get this for Christmas. Like, I bet it's going to be hilarious.
But like, I mean, if it's like anything else in 2020, Christmas is canceled too. Let's just keep it 100. Like,
and I love Christmas. I love Christmas too. That breaks my heart. But before you get out of here, so, like, we know that your stance is you spell out Harlem. What does Harlem stand for?
Oh, good. Yes, I'm glad you asked about this. The platform.
Yeah.
So I'm Kristin for Harlem. All my political points, they spell out Harlem acronym. The H stands for Holding Police Accountable and Abolition. It's basically an elected civilian review board and also defunding, reallocating funds away from NYPD. The A stands for Actually Affordable Housing. It's basically a push for housing as a human right, universal rent stabilization, including commercial rent stabilization, and housing the homeless in homes, not shelters. And R is for redistribution of wealth and resources. I do identify as a democratic socialist. I am talking about moving money from those who have the most to those who are in need and or most oppressed. The L is for living longer. It is a care package for Harlem seniors that I actually put together with seniors in the district. And basically a wellness package where we focus on funding care at the senior centers and giving every senior an advocate to navigate the system.
I love that.
Because our seniors, they deserve it. They deserve it. The E is for education for all and environmental justice. So we packed a lot into that E. I until running for office, I was a teacher, and I want to see what is called the community school model for public school education expanded. It's basically a holistic view of treating the kids and taking care of kids. The main criticism around it is that it's expensive, to which I say, yes, pay the bill, like pay for it.
You got $10 billion for jails, so I mean, come on now.
That part.
And the environmental justice piece, I'm for a New York Green New Deal, which would basically be renewable energy sources and infuse the city with jobs, but also work on redirecting our economy to sustainable energy. And M is for meaningful change, where I usually just riffed about the fact that all of these policies together, combined with what I symbolically represent as a third generation Harlemite and Black queer woman, will bring about meaningful change.
Love it.
Your platform is big and beautiful, and I absolutely love it. Like, that is just like, I hear your platform and I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, that's how it just should be. Like, to me, like, that's common sense. It just makes the most sense. And I don't understand how everyone else isn't already on that page. Like, I absolutely love it. Do you have like a website or IG or Facebook or something where our listeners can follow or share? Because I would love, and donate, because I would love, honestly, I mean, like, I don't know a lot of people in Harlem, but I know people who know people, you know? So like, I would love to just be able to share and hope that our community can do the same thing too. Because a lot of what, you know, policies as well too is about networking. No, it's about who you know too, you know, or who you know that knows someone. So would you have any like information you can share with the community so we can, you know, support you on your journey?
Yes, definitely. And it's appreciated because it is a grassroots movement, like I said before. So every bit helps. Everyone who shares something, tells someone. In the end, I'm aiming for 25,000 votes. So everything that moves the needle.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Boom.
But it's Kristin for Harlem on all platforms. Kristin, 2 eyes, because my eyes are wide open. And in social media world, it is 4, the number 4. So Kristin for Harlem Facebook, Kristin for Harlem Instagram, Kristin for Harlem Twitter. You get the idea. On the web, it's Kristin for Harlem with the 4 spelled out. Because the webpage, we cater to a bit of an older crowd.
It's like, I can't find that number 4. Like, why is it a 4?
Struggles. It's all good. It's all good. So the website is actually the Kristin, Kristin FOR.
Right.
Okay, perfect.
And we'll put it up on our social media and all that as well, to make sure folks find it easily. And I know you're a poet and you love neo soul. Yes. So who is before you get out here, your favorite neo soul artist. Who do you listen to where you're just like, oh, I know all the lyrics?
Do you listen to Neo?
I do, but I like Lauryn Hill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lauryn
you can't
Hill.
go wrong with
Yeah,
Lauryn. I mean,
absolutely.
Can't go
You
wrong with
better watch out.
We'll see.
Yes.
I'd probably put the whole album on after this episode.
Look, that Miseducation, Lauryn Hill. Look, even the skits, you know.
Oh, it's so good still to this day.
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, now you just got me in the Lauren mode. Well, Kristin, we want to just thank you for taking the time. We know you're booked and busy.
100%.
To carve time to chat with us, to tell us about your platform. You are welcome back whenever you want to. Literally. Thank you so much for running on the platform and the morals and the foundation that you're doing for our community. Because, like I said, like it's still mind-boggling to me that in that community there hasn't been a Black woman that's queer that's won city council seats and things like that's still mind-boggling to me. So thank you for doing.
And I just supported.
Oh,
Just send you some money, girl.
Yeah.
Put your money where your mouth is.
That part.
The donation, the support, and the platform are appreciated. So
100%. If you need anything from us, we're here for you.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Second that.
Well, continue to sip your little chai tea, get you some rest, take you some vitamin C, stay rested and stay safe out there in the streets because we know COVID's still crazy. So stay safe out there. We need you out there.
Yes.
All right.
Cool.
Oh,
How awesome was that?
That was really awesome.
Wasn't
She
that
moved my spirit. Like, I feel like I should be doing more. I'm still scared about some of them skeletons in the closet, though.
I already told you
here's the thing.
My dick pic coming out day one.
But here's the thing, though. Like, if you just acknowledge your shit, can't harm you.
Seriously.
Like, yeah, that's me.
It's
And
like, yeah.
what?
And it look good, don't it?
Yeah.
It look good.
Yep. And I'm a photographer.
And it comes in 4K. It comes in 4K too, bitch. What?
That part. Now what? But guess what? Now I need some $10 billion to get away from the jails to our education and to our streets. And then see, that's how you do it. Just don't even give them a time of day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, you watched it, didn't you? Though.
You saw it. You saw me stroking it.
Mouth drooling, booty twitching, booty hole twitching.
So you saw.
You saw that wink. You saw a wink at you. And
you saw that Abilene and that gun oil.
But why you in my DMs though?
Right. Why you in my DMs though?
Like, come on.
It is what it is.
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, it's so inspiring to like talk to people like that who, said, you know what? I'm feeling it in my spirit, my heart, and my soul to just get out there and do what I can. Yeah. And, like I totally take my hat off to anybody who can put, their feet in the fire and, and make a commitment, because that is a huge commitment. You know what I mean?
So is.
And not everybody's built for that kind of life, and not everybody has the personal conviction. I think what I loved hearing from Kristin is like, this isn't just because it's something to do.
Right.
Rabbit ears. This is something that she is passionate about, that she is convicted about, that she grew up in this community. She's part of this community. She wants the best for this community. The fact that she's, recognized like, oh, old dog that's supposed to be representing our community, Harlem, you gonna vote for jail?
Is that
for
right?
Jail? The institution that's taken 75% of our adult men, 75% of our fathers out of their homes,
out of this
jail?
Community, out of this
community. So
that's crazy.
I agree. She's
Absolutely.
got my vote. She's got my heart.
Yeah, that's not a microscope or a magnifying glass that I feel like I could be under, just because, like as forward as I can be, I still like to have some privacy of my own. And I feel like that you have to be very selfless and willing to give everything of who you are in order to do it correctly. You know, otherwise that's how you get caught up and you lose all the genuinity and authenticity to being into that, you know, that big fight. So I'm with you, Duane. I commend them all.
And the reality of it is that we all have to do what we're convicted to do. Not all of us have that same kind of conviction. As admirable as that is, I can't do it.
Same.
And the reality of it is, I don't want to do it. That doesn't mean that my degree of conviction is any less than hers. It means that the way that I express
it's
that
not your ministry. It's not
different.
your Everyone has a calling on earth. Like, and if you're not going to be able to give your all to it, you're in the way.
Yeah.
Like point, and it's not even like a bad thing. It's just like not trying to be petty or mean about it. It's just like either you're in or you're out.
Right.
And if you're only double dutching in, you are literally slowing down the progress that really needs to be done. So
and also wasting your own individual time, you know,
money
like you could when you could be doing something that you're much more passionate about and that you're better at as well too.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. You know, so when I say stay in your lane, stay in your lane.
Until that lane can't fit you anymore.
Right.
You gotta you ready to branch out.
And it could be a different season. That's another thing. It's just like, maybe it's not now. Maybe 10 years down the line, you're like, oh, now I have the skill set and the tool belt accordingly to do whatever change it needs to be, you know? Utilize your gifts. I'm such a proponent of that. Utilize your gifts. Like, 100%. You might not be good at X, but you damn good at Y. So be the best at Y. The aid to change, you know? Don't stop trying to be X and Z. Be the best at Y. Shit.
I mean, you never know what your gifts and talents may be.
Ow. You saw it in that video. You saw it in that video that leaked.
Oh, so much. We all went there.
Right. Y'all nasty too. Y'all talking about me. All you motherfuckers nasty. Oh man. Let's see. We're like 45 minutes in. We might as well hop on in it then. We might as well get into that Ask Yo AunTeas. So what time is it? Ask your auntie. Oh man, do I have it up still?
I have it up. We said 97, right?
Yeah.
She's about to take us from the highs to the lows.
All right, and this is actually kind of good because it kind of tied into like what we were just talking about with Kristin on too. So the question is, from Anonymous, anyone know what it's like to stand up for equality so strong that you start getting used to death threats coming your way? I created a group to protest for people's rights and true equality, yet now I'm feeling like if this fails, everyone will see me as a failure. When I ask for help, nobody will lend a hand, yet I can't walk out now because then I would have failed my community and would have allowed for lives to be in danger. At the Pride Parade in Phoenix, I feel overwhelmed and alone, yet I keep going forward. I don't know what to do. You guys have any help for me, aunties?
Ooh.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Give you guys some time to think about it. I think, again, this goes back to what we were just talking about. You know, we all, but you specifically, should be doing what you feel compelled to do for however long it is on your spirit. You can't control you can't control other people's actions and their reactions, you know, and despite what you do to support your community, if you're doing it with all your heart, you're doing it from a good place, take comfort in that. And if you decide that you're no longer either interested or able to do, this continued support, just recognize that it's not on you to save the world. You're speaking and acting from a place that you're compelled from, and that you're driven to act from. And that's the best thing that you can do. Be yourself, be authentic, do what feels right to you. And if at a place where you're starting to feel discouraged, or you're needing some additional support because you want to do some more, there are things that you can do to help to get that. And, obviously your community will help support you, but just realize that anytime you're doing something radical, haters gonna hate.
That's true.
Liars gonna
Haters
lie.
gonna hate.
They're gonna come for you, you know. But you have to just stay true to your own convictions.
Yeah. Corral, do you want to go, or you want me to go, Boo?
I could go.
For it.
I feel a lot of times when it comes to doing a lot of that kind of work, not everyone's built for it, honestly. And that kind of goes back to that be the best why you can be, because not everyone can be why. Because I'm such a proponent on God gives us certain tool sets that are for specific things. And it might get lonely, it might get tiring on this journey, but there's still going to always be this little fire in you that honestly can't quit as much as you want to, you know? It's like, you're just like, I'm drained. I feel like people are not stepping up. I feel like I'm doing the work. However, I got to keep going because I have that specific tool set, you know? And if I quit, it might not ever get done, the journey that needs to be completed. So that's kind of hard to come to a realization sometimes. It's just like, I don't want to do it on my own though. But then once you just step back, like meditate, do whatever you need to do just to center yourself again, you'll find out that fire's still there and that you know what the next steps are going to need to be. And you know who to reach out to help you. And honestly, surround yourself with people that are willing to help is a big thing too. Because sometimes you might surround yourself with people that might be your friends, might be your baby mama, whatever it may be, but they might not want to truly help all the way. And you got to be okay, be like, okay, that's not your ministry. You know what? No tea, no shade to you, but I need to find people around me to get to this common end goal. And if you ain't it, I need to find somebody and be able to identify that and be able to be like, sorry, not sorry. You can't come on this journey. Not everybody's meant to come on your journey. And it's going to get hard and lonely, but that's just part of the journey, honestly. Like if it was all easy, then everybody would have done it.
Yeah.
I would say also ask for help. Ask for help. That's that part, you know, sometimes you think that you don't have the people around you, but when you start to ask for help, people step up.
That's true too.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say, and there he did say that, she did say they were asking when people were tending not to show up. So, I was gonna say, I think the first thing I would suggest is think about why you are in it. You know, because if you're in it for yourself, I feel like you can find more ways to stay encouraged. Whereas if you're in it for, you know, I wouldn't say the attention, but if you're in it for other people's opinions and other people's thoughts and their desires, then you're gonna feel that loneliness a lot more easier when people don't show up, you know, because it says don't put trust in man, you know, in the Bible, you don't do it. And I've learned that the hard way. The second thing that I would also suggest too is changing your mindset from thinking that if you don't continue doing it the way that you're doing it now, that any other way means it's less. Because just like what Kristin was saying, that AOAC said, everyone has a role to play. And just because your role may be different from someone else, it doesn't mean that it's less significant. So the truth of the fact is, any positive or it moving the needle in the right direction any way at all is good. And so it may not be as, you know, in the front line. You may be, you know, in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th row. You know, you may be waiting outside the club, but guess what? You there. And that's what matters the most. So I think you need to also change your focus, or excuse me, your mindset on as far as how the work you know, how you perceive your work and what it means to you. Because if you think about it, and like Carell said, you know, like everyone ain't showing up, like everyone can't do it. And so the fact that you are willing to do it alone puts you in a whole other league than a lot of people aren't even there
attempting,
you know, or attempting to.
Yeah, and think about other trailblazers that have been part of our community, you know, or just part of other communities, like specifically the Black community. You know, think about like the Tuskegee Riders, or the people that did the lunch counter sit-ins, or, you know, that are going through riots today. These are people who are literally getting shot at, like today, are getting shot at with, you know, real bullets, rubber bullets, whatever. They're putting their lives on the line for something that they're convicted about. And, you know, I listen, I'm not saying that we're giving license for, you know, people to abuse you by any stretch of the measure, but I think anything that's worth doing is worth doing,
and you'll find a way to do
it. But I want to say this though, because the one thing that I want to be careful when we say those words is making sure that you check in with yourself, you know, like, because worth is subjective. You know, what's worth, you know, what may be something that's worth it for you may not be something worth it for someone else. So don't get caught up in thinking that you have to give all of you in order to make it work. Because at the end of the day, if you give all of you, what's left for you? You got to always make sure that there is something in the tank for you to come back to yourself. Otherwise, you're going to get lost in what you're trying to do. You know,
as Iyanla say, she say, "What's in the cup is for me. What spills over is for y'all."
Yeah, exactly. You know,
but and I think too, like if you're centered on that purpose and the purpose is in the right place,
they go hand in hand.
You're in that purpose, so like you're still fulfilled from it, like, you know. And so like the second you start feeling, I don't know what word to use, almost feeling off track or just feeling like lonely and discouraged.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times it's the time to take a moment, a breather, and say, hold on, am I on the right track? Because you might be starting to focus on what people are saying and maybe the ego of it. And the second you get back on that track of the reason why you're solely doing it, it fulfills you in a weird way and it fuels you again, you know? So I think you could give 100% of you because you're getting 100% back on that energy of the purpose of it. Doesn't mean you won't get tired, but it means that the energy you give, the energy has to come back. Everything's just energy, you know? And the second you give it to the wrong thing, that's the energy you're getting back wasn't for you in the first place.
Well, but hold on, I will say this though, like, but when it comes to rights like this or like the fight of equality though, you're fighting against people who don't give a damn. So that energy don't come back always. So you got to be careful. And that's why it's important to, like you said, to realign. But that's how the energy, so the energy don't come back. You manifest more when you realign because the assholes on the other side still don't give a fuck about you. So you have to come back and re-armor up and get ready to go back to war. But it's kind of like what Kristin
said. Remember she said earlier in the episode, she was just like, I think it was your question, where you were asking her, how do you stay focused or how do you make sure that the folks, whatever they're saying against you isn't like affecting you mentally? If you know what you bring and what your purpose is and staying rooted in truly what you are, which is way easier said than done, by the way. So I don't want it to come across that I do it all the time because it's not the truth. But it bounces off of you some weird way because you're so focused on what it needs to be done that some of this negative energy, not to say that it's not going to be hurled your way, you find a way to like duck and weave and matrix that shit. And so like
I guess we're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Like cause she says she sips tea and she meditates. Exactly. And I guess that's the same thing. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's and that's literally the words I just said. Yeah. You have to find the time to realign because that energy doesn't come back because of what them. Well, right. And so you have to do the work to get yourself back on track. Because and that's what goes back to my first one, like figure out the reason why you're in it. Because if you remember why you're in it, it's going to help you realign and feel more encouraged to do it.
Yep. But I think the other thing to remember is to be realistic about your expectations when it comes to like the results that you're expecting to see. Because the work that you're doing when it comes to the fight for equality is not an overnight success kind of story. This is something that is a constant, it's a constant battle. And if you are not bossed up and ready for the long fight and you're just expecting like, listen, I don't want to make the assumption that I know what you are expecting and whatever, but I'm just saying like a lot of people get into the conversations I've had with my friends that are struggling with things like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, like Black Lives Matter, they're seeing all this stuff and they're just like, I want to be able to support. And they're like, okay, well, I can post a few things on my social media, you know, I can ask a few questions, you know, or whatever. And I can get frustrated. And I have gotten frustrated with my non-Black friends and some Black friends.
That part too.
But I've gotten frustrated with people within my circle who have kind of tipped their toe in the allyship water, but haven't really gotten in it, you know, and had any skin in the game. And I have to check myself, because the measurement of equality is not how much, you know, skin does each other person outside of me have in the game. Right. It's how much skin I have in the game. It's what am I doing, you know, and what am I expecting as a result? Like if I go to a rally and I'm going to expect that because I went to this rally, all of a sudden racism is gone. No, it's not like that. Right. You know, so I think being crystal clear about, I think what the boys are, the aunties are saying. I was going to say the boys, but you know, the aunties are saying.
The boys, the aunties, whatever you want to call us.
But like, you know, like you have to be really clear about why are you in this?
In it, yeah.
Why are you specifically in it?
Yep.
And what are the results that you're hoping to get out of this? And are those results realistic based off of, you know, the energy that you're putting in, the skill set that you're putting in it, the kind of, you know, the impact that could potentially make within your neighborhood, within your community, within the broader community, et cetera. Be realistic about that stuff. Yeah. And gather people around you that you can regenerate off of. Yeah. You know, get a crew around you that can, if the people that are around you right now are not supportive, seek other people out.
You need a Flavor Flav. You need a hype man. You know? Seriously.
But I honestly though, and this is just me personally, I wouldn't even suggest seeking other people out because again, I don't trust people. So if you have to lean on people to do what you need to do, then you put your fate in your mental space in someone else's hand, you know. So do as much as you can do, and if other people love it, they will come. And when they come, then you encourage them. That's just me personally.
I think the idea isn't just that you put your faith in other people. I think the idea is that, you know, put energy out there that says, I need help and I need people that can bring certain kind of energy into my circle that are not the leechers, you know, the people that are, or the tag-alongs, or the people that are just in it for clout chasing, or because it's a movement, or because they can do some TikTok videos about it. Right. You know what I mean? It's about getting real about the people that are around your circle.
And it's all about that alignment. Because like if you're a hammer, you need a screwdriver. A hammer can't do what the screwdriver does. But
I mean, it
doesn't mean.
It depends. It depends if it's a nail or a screw, though.
Oh Lord! But my point is, like, it doesn't diminish that. Right. It doesn't diminish that you're both tools. You know.
Right.
Like. Right. If you go ahead and pound the shit out that nail, if that's your ministry, I want you to be the best at it, damn it. And I'm gonna need you on my team now, because you know what? Yes, I could potentially hammer in a nail with the back of a screwdriver, but it's not the best. I'm not the best at it. That's not what I was built for.
But if that's all you got,
I'm gonna do it. But you know what? I see that you're aligned on this ministry, whatever we're doing, and you really good at that. Okay, I need you on my team. Because you know what, you're gonna do the best out of that, and we're gonna kick ass then, you know. And that's what a lot of people. It's hard to find people like that, and then it's also just hard to maybe even take your ego down, because sometimes you maybe want to do it all, you know. Even though you're a tool, there's better tool options out there. So let's align and keep going, kind of thing. So it's a lot.
I think the other thing that we're not talking about is the fact that this person could be doing this, and maybe they were doing it for the wrong reason, or they were doing it for the right reason, and they're just done. And if you are just done, it's okay. You know, there's like pressure of like, you don't want to let other people down, and this was your ministry for a while, but at the same time, you have to recognize, like, if you're ready for if there's something on your spirit that is saying you need to go in a different direction, don't hang in a situation that is not meant for you when your spirit is telling you it's not meant for you. So even if you weren't able to get the results that you wanted, even if you're tired, even if you're just ready for something different, you know, it's okay to change your mind, and it's okay to change your ministry, and it's okay to change your profession. It's okay to make a change if you're no longer feeling it.
Make that change.
Damn what everybody got to say about your ministry.
Yeah, every candle has its end, but doesn't mean it's your last candle. You know, like you are the creator of that.
Disney.
You know, like
A house is still a house.
Right, come on, Luther.
A chair is still a chair.
Come on now, a chair is still a chair. Even when nobody
a
there.
Candle is still a candle.
Oh, but community, continue to send in your Ask Your Auntie questions, aya@minoritetyreport.com, or DM us or whatever. However, email us, DM us, text us, whatever you need to. But we enjoy your questions, so continue to send those in. But I don't even know what, like, we didn't hit on this, but what are you gonna do?
Oh, I wanted to talk about something you brought up, and it's the gay man taking over Proud Boys hashtag.
Oh,
Yes.
I don't know how I feel. I'm conflicted on it.
I'm good if your intentions is to silence them.
Right.
But if your intention is for clout because you want to be seen because it's what everyone else is doing,
you just want to kiss up on your boob,
then I'm not for that. I'm absolutely not for that. Because the truth is, we see a lot of this performative type shit in the queer community quite often, especially when it comes to people of color, you know?
Yes.
So, but you know, the funny thing is, I love that they found a hashtag to jump on board when it comes to the LGBTQ community. But where was this when it came to the POCs, when it came to Black Lives Matter? Where was that energy then? How come you couldn't have a hashtag that drowned out all lives matter then?
Thank you. It's seriously.
Because the truth of this, the people doing this are mostly white folks. It's mostly the white queer people
and here's
doing
the stats.
And you don't see shit else on their IG page about exactly.
Here's the stats. Public support for Black Lives Matter has decreased most amongst white people since George Floyd 4 months ago. And in fact, there was a Pew Research Center did a study, and it says support of Black Lives Matter among white people has dropped 15% since June 2020. This is the largest drop among all races.
I mean,
exactly. So that's why, like, literally the second I saw it, I was like, oh, it's like, I get this. Exactly. It's like part of me is just like, okay, I'm glad you drowned out the Proud Boys during this moment, because yes, that was a huge thing from the debate and we need to drown them out. But when your IG and everything else has nothing else or very little about any other injustices during this, especially this year, when literally it's all day, every day something is happening. Right. And now you just want to put up a picture with your dude kissing and shit.
Because this is the funny thing about it. And this is the funny, and this is what pisses me off, because the whole point of the Proud Boys trending was because Donald Trump didn't denounce white supremacy, which is racism towards Black folks. Right. So they made an argument that was directed towards the injustice Black people and made it about queer people.
Right.
But where was this argument?
Well, let's be clear. It wasn't about queer people. It was about white gay men.
Yes.
Let's be clear, because those are the ones that are appropriating it.
And honestly, and the sad thing too, the person that started Proud Boys was George Takei. Is that how you say his name, from Star Trek? So Asian man. So I think his intent, because he speaks up about injustice all the time. So I think his
George
intent.
Takei?
Is that how you say it?
George. When you said George Takei, I'm like,
Takei. I was like,
it's George Takei.
Alexa.
Whoever That's the guy that goes, oh my.
Right,
that one.
Yeah. So he always speaks up about injustice. So like, I'm here for him.
Yes.
But then it got taken over by the white gay male.
Yeah.
Just for a reason to promote yourself. And this is not a blanket statement.
It's appropriation.
Not everyone's doing that,
in the
but a lot of them are.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen shit else on your IG.
Right.
That is infuriating.
Do you guys have a group of Proud Boys in like Atlanta that show up, or in like Harlem, where you guys are?
No, not in Harlem.
So we do here in Seattle.
Not in Harlem.
Like the white supremacist Proud Boys.
Yes, absolutely. Because they legit will come up here in the neighborhood. And so when they're here, like the gays and the Black folks, everyone will be like, hey, just saw some Proud Boys, you know, pulling shit out of their car, blah, 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 on this street, like, don't go out tonight, stay in, etc., because they have been destructive for years over here in Capitol Hill. And Seattle was one of the most progressive cities in the country. And we have the Proud Boys back here. So I get it in that sense, because there are some gays who are, you know, are targets for the Proud Boys. But I just hate the fact that the Proud Boy moment wasn't about them. It was about white supremacy towards Black folks, and they made it about them. You know, and I just wish that they would have joined the fight sooner. So when they spoke up, it would have made sense that they got something to say. It's like, oh, now you got a voice.
Because I've seen like dudes in like jock straps and stuff like about it. Like, I'm like, okay, it's like, I love the jock strap. Thank you. Your ass looks amazing. But this is not the time nor the place.
Right.
For this picture.
Right.
And also scrolling through your IG with all the ads that you do every day, you don't have anything else.
Yeah. Like it's literally about you. It's literally just all about you. It's so selfish.
And if your like reason for adopting this is because it's like, you know, like, oh, this is something I can finally like participate in, that is not reason enough. Like
you're still the problem.
Right.
That's no different than the other side.
At the end of the day, if this was something that was brought up by like the Black coalition and you had a whole bunch of like Black people, straight Black people talking about, pride in our community, pride in like being Black and pride of da-da-da-da. Like, to me, that feels more authentic.
Right.
But like for this to come from like white gay men is just another way to appropriate something because you feel left out.
Ooh. Let me drink on now.
I felt that. That's real talk. That's
you got shit else to say after that.
Yeah. So, you know, it's not that I want people, you know, you don't have to stop the hashtag, but what I encourage is to make your hashtag more than just about yourself.
Let this be the jumping off point for you then.
You know, like if you gonna jump in, this ain't no game of double dutch, bitch. You gonna jump in, you better get the fucking jumping, bitch. You don't jump in and jump out.
You better at least get about 2-3.
Put that footwork in there. Look, hey, I better see one drop in there. Okay,
right,
look,
it's something.
You know, but don't think you can just jump in and be like, oh, well, there's finally something that that points on me. Too. Yeah, I'm like, and then you're gonna bow out gracefully. Yeah. And that's kind of like going into the next subject I want to talk about, like how, like, again, you're seeing the queer community be more vocal with Ali and Thomas talking about
Homeboy Thomas.
Right, yeah, talking about they want to, revisit. I support it. They want to revisit 2015's gay marriage, rights. And now you see so many, people in the queer community speaking up. But it's just like, we've been saying this during Black Lives Matter. Like, all of us, like, it has, like, we aren't saying all lives matter because we're talking about specifically Black lives. But if you understand that our lives are in danger because of the same people that are empowered to fuck up your lives, you obviously aren't paying attention. You're missing the whole picture. We're just a corner over here that make up the whole picture of the motherfucking United States. And if they coming over here, well, guess where else they gonna go once this area is gone? To you.
That's like having ragweed, okay, that shit spreads.
Girl.
So we may be on the far left corner, but it's going to start inching its way over to your neighborhood pretty soon. So
like bamboo trees and mint, like all that shit. Like,
ooh, bamboo is the
bamboo's
worst.
the worst.
The worst.
The worst.
it is the worst weed ever. It's like
you cannot kill it at all.
Nope. Because it gets so tall and it spreads, it seeds like everywhere.
Which is why I don't, like, this is off the topic, but like, I don't know why we don't use that for like sustainable everything. Like, it's just like, it's such a weed that like and it's just as hard as like the hardwood that we use of trees, but it grows way quicker. So anyway, that's a whole environmental thing. But like, when this episode comes out, yesterday now, Sunday, would be the 1-year anniversary for Corey and I getting married. And to see that this week, to see potentially that this is literally their agenda for the next Supreme Court, like, And for the Republicans, like literally, that's your agenda, is to take this away. Like, it infuriates me. Like, who are you to say that I cannot get married to someone that I genuinely love and adore with all my heart, you know, and pay the taxes and everything, like just like you do with your marriage? Like, it's so upsetting. And it's just like, and I was like, for it to hit this week, it hurt my feelings, honestly. Like, just to be point blank period, like my feelings were hurt, because I was like, here I am just getting married a year ago, and now this is literally your agenda against people like me to try to change these laws and take this away from me. That's a personal attack towards me. And I'm not here for it. So Thomas, Coon Boy Thomas, like, I didn't like you before. I really don't like your ass now. And old boy, whatever his name is, Alito, Alto, or whatever his name is, don't like your ass neither. Because it's just like, I don't get how to take human rights like that away, and you feel good at night. You're sleeping okay at night. Like, oh, okay, that was my agenda. Yay, I did it. What the fuck? Like,
why can't Rona take the worst ones? Like, why do Rona gotta take all the good ones? Like,
see, I ain't gonna go.
You know, I am, because guess
That's
what?
That's why they call her Auntie Hennessy.
Right. because the truth of the fact is, if Rona did, it will allow us to be in better situations. Right now, we have to do so much fighting just to stay above water that it's hard to even fight when you're so far behind. So that's what I said. You know, that's why I purposely said that.
Oof.
Yeah, you know.
Like, okay, we're already fighting for Black Lives Matter, so now I got to fight to stay married.
It really just, you know, like, and I'm sure you guys have kind of grown up in a similar kind of sense, you know, through the like 80s, 90s, or whatever. Growing up, you just grew up with a sense of pride in America and buying into the propaganda that, you know, that we're about, you know, love, life, and the pursuit of happiness, that, you know, that the legislative system is working for the betterment of all Americans, you know. But what we've seen over the last, you know, probably 10 to 15 years is this partisan agenda that is less focused on the advancement of all Americans and America altogether. You know, if you look at like our economy, we're X trillions of dollars in debt right now. You know, just from a fiscal, you know, financial perspective. You know, we have mortgaged the fuck out of our own country. And at the same time, you know, we are stripping away the liberties that, you know, that people that are paying into this fucked up country. Like, I can't believe that I'm paying 30%, that we all are paying like 25 to 30, if not more percent of our income into a system that is not representing our interests. Yes. And the idea that we're voting, that not we, but that there are issues that are being voted on to strip people away of their rights is asinine to me.
Yes.
And it just totally erodes this vision of what quote unquote America used to be. And I think we talked about it in an earlier podcast, you know, like when I see, to make this real, like when I see the American flag, right, on a car, I don't assume pride in the country. I assume that person is racist as fuck.
That part.
Yeah.
So true.
So
racist,
what does that
homophobic,
say?
sexist. Yeah.
So what, you know, it's just, it's so disillusioning to be in America right now and see all these things politically happening that are not in the betterment of our people at all. But it's like, it's an intent to divide us even more, you know, from people that are either, you know, rightist and Christian and believe a certain kind of way to everybody else.
Yeah.
And thing is, like, I don't even know if like the rightists and the Christians even believe what they believe. They just want, their ego is so inflated that I don't even know if they truly know what they believe. They just know, I want to be right about something that I've just kind of made up, and you know, that I feel like I'm not right now. So I'm just going to bitch and moan and make it difficult for everybody else. You know,
it's power. You know, like they're like for some reason I don't know why it's in human nature, but there always has to be some type of level of power. I don't understand why, but I think that's still one of those things that we are still trying to fight. A lot of the older generations that unfortunately has still kind of taught some of the young generations that we're still dealing with. But again, that's why I say 2024. I can't wait for the election season because I'm telling you, these candidates gonna look a whole lot different.
I hope so. I pray so. But shout out to Martin Jenkins, though, the first LGBTQ Supreme Court justice out in California, just got nominated in there.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
That's kind of like a bright spot. It's just like the more we get more representation like that, even though it's going to be, like we say, a marathon, because we're not going to see it anytime soon, maybe because we don't live in California, and then who knows if he'll ever get elected to the Supreme Court and things like that. But we just need to put more justices in these systems, which goes back to voting in your local elections and things like that. Like, it is so critical. And I hope anything out of this, like, cycle of elections is that the importance of local voting is so key that hopefully the turnouts are at least a little better in the future. Like, because 2 years from now, we're going to have a whole nother cycle. It's not going to be a presidential cycle, but we need you to get out there and vote just as much in these droves that we think is about to happen now. Because if not, that's how Trump has gotten a lot of these other justices and systems, because like people didn't show up to vote and voting in like horrible people. We need to be aware 24/7. Every election, we need to be out there. So let this be the jumping off point. Like if you're in it now, let this be the jumping off point for the future, because we need everyone to stay attuned to get everybody that's still not up for election this cycle, that has gone along with the old boy train, that hasn't said shit this whole time. We need to get all of them out. So we got a lot more elections to get all these mother effers out, because they ain't even stick up for us while old boy's running amok. All right, that was my soapbox.
Where do we go from here?
I don't know.
You know, I got a question. I got a question for y'all, because it's been heavy on politics and doing service. So I got a question. So this episode comes out the day before the Apple iPhone release. What do you guys expected? Okay, here I got a question for y'all. What is it gonna take? Well, you just said you're getting it anyway. So maybe this is for DeJuan. What is it gonna take for you to get the new iPhone?
I mean, I'll probably get it regardless, because I can just change my phone every year, so it don't really matter. I think the thing that I'm challenged by, I saw an article today that said that Apple just filed for a patent for a unbreakable screen that was for the use of a foldable device. And that to me is it just validates that Apple is no longer, in my opinion, from a smartphone perspective, or even anything else, the center of innovation.
Creation. Yeah, innovation. Yeah.
You know, and what I would have loved to have seen was, you know, something that's not the same like iPhone, you know, that just, it has a couple of tweaks. I would love to have seen a whole new redesign, a whole new look, a whole new everything. You know, introduce fucking holograms or something, you know, like turn me in a gym, you know, like, you know, like do
synergy.
Something.
Yeah,
exactly. Siri.
I agree. No, I absolutely agree. Like for me, like as of lately, like the last couple of phones, the main changes have been like little things within iPhone, you know, like how facial recognition work, or like pixels and the videos when you're watching videos, or like, you know, cameras.
You still can't take a picture at night.
Right. Okay, come on now.
Their night mode isn't the best.
It still isn't the best, you know. So for me, I'm with you. Like, I need like a cosmetic change. Like, I need something, because right now I don't take a lot of photos. You know, like I don't watch a lot of videos on my phone. Like I don't. I'll watch like sporting events on my phone. But even then,
porn like, on the side, you know.
I mean, yeah, or that. Yeah, you're right. Or that on the side. But even then, it's never to a significant amount where I'm always on my phone where videos matter, you know, for that sense, you know. So like, I need something significant that's going to change. I would love it, like what you said, something like holograms, or like for us finally to be able to like what is it, like projector, like being able to like cast something, like be able to like maybe like there's an additional camera you can project onto a wall or something like that, so it's bigger than what you're looking at on your actual phone. Like if it's
I just remember when an iPhone came out. I remember when an iPhone came out, like the first people that had it were scared that people would steal it. It was that valuable.
Yes.
Now you can go anywhere, leave your phone. You can leave your phone on the subway and ain't nobody touching it because everybody got the same. You know what I mean? Like,
because
these
bitches are like $1,200 now, though.
Right? I can't.
But you know
I
what
can't
I mean?
take
like,
the L. But you right though. I do remember what you said because before people would steal them and hack them. People would like steal them. They would hack them and resell them like that.
Right.
And then you are absolutely correct. They don't do it as much anymore.
They don't. No.
But I'm with Carell too, though. I can't take the L.
Right.
Like
I'm not just throwing money away.
Right.
You know, I'm just like, you know, ooh, there's a spot on my pant. Oh, I just trash.
But this one is actually, they're finally at least updating the design a little bit. It's going to be more boxy, like the iPad. If you have an iPad Pro now, kind of that square, almost like the iPhone 5s, where it was like kind of squared off. So they are changing it, but it's not these radical changes anymore. No. And honestly, a lot of them, I don't know what else they can really do to a phone to make it as exciting as it used to be. Because like when they first came out, this was like brand new. Smartphones, at least, were like brand new. So anything that they launched, you're like, wait, I could do that on my phone? I could take all these videos on my phone now? And now it's kind of getting these incremental things where it's harder to get as excited. But like my phone's 2 years old, so I'm like, okay, it's time for an upgrade because I didn't.
You have the XR?
I have the 10X Max.
10X. So, okay, I have the XR. So
we're
the same.
And so it's like I could upgrade every year. I'm on that little cycle plan. But last year I was like, it's not even worth me upgrading. Like, it's literally the same phone. Yeah, the camera is a little better because Corey has it. So there's certain stuff that I'm like, okay. But I'm excited just because like it's 2 years and literally, even though iPhone or Apple got sued about this, I still think they have programs in your phone that know that a new phone's about to come and your phone about to fuck up because literally the last couple months my phone's been tripping. I'm like, they still got some program in this phone
because they were throttling, but they were like, you know, slowing down the production of people's phones.
They ain't fooling me.
That's happening to me too.
I don't want to like knock. First of all, I don't want to knock like the leaps of innovation that are happening from a processing power perspective. Like the fact that you can go from watching 18 porn videos going at the same goddamn time, you know, like on your phone and nothing's slowing down.
Video they're processing, there's silicon.
The processing is great. And I get that, you know, so like, yes, there's innovation happening, but like, I think for me, what kept Apple kind of like on the forefront was the fact that from a visual product in your hand perspective, it looked, it felt, it was just different. Like I would love to have like, you know, like come out with some shit that's like luxury, like, you know, come out with a phone that has like like actual gold. You know, like, do something that's gonna be, or like have
gives me a handy on the side or something. Come on now, like, Apple. Have a completely transparent phone, you know, that you can see all the way through, you know, like, you know, or something that like, you know, uses like, I don't know. It feels like you know, where they're spending the majority of their innovation is on the internal mechanism. And yes, that has value. I do know that if I wanted to, I can work 100% off of my phone. I can do everything I need to do for work off of my phone. And that's invaluable. That's really great. But I want a little bit of the sexy back. I want a little bit of the like, you know, I want a little something like, you know, when you come home and your man, you know, just naked waiting for you.
You know what I mean? Like, just surprise
ass up,
me.
ass up, lubed up. Yeah.
Just you know, just right in between, so you can just, you know,
Get in
like,
there.
get right in. You know?
Community, if you are now watching this video, you just missed a moment right there.
Poor, I won't even say his name. Poor DeJuan's partner. He's over here talking about fisting and everything.
Adam, he said his name.
Oh, you said his name. Okay, Adam. Sorry, Adam. I was trying to protect you.
I mean, it's just,
the thrill isn't always there anymore.
It's gotten to the point where when Apple is getting ready to do their announcement, but for this year, it would have been locked in with their announcement they did a couple weeks ago, but they were pushed back due to like COVID.
Yeah.
You know, it pushed back the production of the iPhone, so they pushed back the announcement of the iPhone features.
Yep.
But it's gotten to the place where it's just like, nobody really cares. Nobody's talking about it.
Are you going to get the Pro series or the regular series though? I guess that's probably almost the differences now because they're coming out with 5 phones. They're coming out with the 12 mini, which is kind of back to the smaller sizes. Then they have like the 12, like 2 versions of the 12, and then they have the 12 Pro 6.1 inch and the Pro Max 6.7 inch.
The problem with the smaller, so like they're being conscious about price point, which I can appreciate, but I think the problem with the smaller, I prefer the smaller phone. Like the iPhone 5, the iPhone 5 was the perfect phone for me.
Okay.
Because I could touch everything with my thumb.
Yeah.
And
yes.
That means a lot.
I hate the thought of like dropping my phone right now.
Yes.
Like it's
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like but the problem with those smaller phones is they make them smaller and they chintz on all the mechanics underneath it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, why can't you just give me the smaller phone with all the features and just make it smaller? Damn.
It's not Apple, because Apple wants your damn coin and your mortgage and your right testicle.
Right.
Yeah. I will say I would like something like one thing I would love to see for Apple is kind of like what the Apple Watch can does is like when you like even from the home screen you can change, you know, like you can have different like unlike a home screen. It's like I like that fact. Like you could have like your home screen change every time you open it, like maybe you see pictures, you know, like I would like something like that because again, like that's something I'm used for because I always have to unlock my phone. So if I could do it where like pictures change, like that would be something cool that I'm like, okay, I can actually see that I like that. Or like maybe you change it and like your desk, like your home screen or your lock screen, excuse me, is like a radio watch or whatever the case. Like I think that would be a cool little feature like to see on iPhone because I know that's something I would personally benefit from. That behind the scenes shit, I ain't thinking about that.
Oh, see, like I'm all like, behind the scenes shit.
No,
because I'm like, because like I'm already because like the A14 chip, because Apple's getting away from Intel because Intel just sucks. They've notoriously sucked forever.
Yeah. And
so just the silica that Apple produces is so light years ahead of every other chip maker. So I'm excited for their next MacBook Pro series with the silica in it. They're also coming out with these things called AirTags, where they're kind of almost, you know, those, it's called a tile, where you could use almost like Bluetooth and things like, say, you could put it on your keys and you lost your keys and you could just look on Bluetooth and find your keys. I guess they're coming out with geolocating, but I guess they're coming out with a version of that that's so accurate that it can literally find your stuff, whatever you put in your luggage, whatever you want to put this AirTag on, within centimeters, which is kind of scary, but it's awesome at the same time. And I guess I was watching something today where they have a chip in the new phones as well. So it'll pair up with the AirTags. You literally have your phone open, use the AI stuff that they have in their phones now, and it'll have like balloons popping up where you lost your whatever you lost. So it like connects with the AirTag and you literally put your phone out and it connects with the AirTags through AI. And instead of having a noise beeping, you literally see it on your phone like, I know it's in the seat cushion somewhere, or at least I know it's in maybe the hamper or something like that. So it's crazy, like the technology in between that they're getting to that we might not see the use for too much until years from now. But it is true. Like at the end of the day, you want a sexy something that you're spending $1,200 on. But I'm ready for a new MacBook. That's what I'm really waiting for. Apple Silicon.
Maybe if they amplified up the vibration.
Oh, wow.
You know, just, you know, gave it a little bit more. Like if it vibrating like, you know,
right, it's like I want the butt plug setting. What's the butt plug setting?
Exactly. Like maybe that might be a little something unintended consequence.
It's like, ooh, thank you, Apple.
Ooh, got a call.
Ooh, yes. Call me again, Corey. Call me again.
I can't.
Oh,
What do you, so how are you guys feeling about this fall, by the way? Like, it's 2020, it's fall, like, is it the same for y'all? Like, I feel like I have not been able to really truly celebrate any season just because of COVID. Like,
it's just been a year.
Spring didn't feel like spring, you know, because I feel like the summer couldn't feel like summer because you couldn't do anything that you want to. Like, I'm feeling the same way about,
this week
like,
in Atlanta, and I'm like, and like it
Right.
sucks because
Yeah.
like, and the thing is, like, they're trying to do this virtual version of it, and I'm seeing like posts and things trying to amp people up this weekend. But it's like, like there's nothing to do. Like literally everything was taken away this year. So no, I don't feel like it's fall. I don't feel like it's pride. I don't feel
people
like
are searching for Halloween costumes still, and I'm like,
I'm not.
Man, I'm like, I don't like. I'm not even just in the mood, but I'm just like, how can we even have a Halloween? You know, like. I mean, I guess kudos to those who still have the faith enough to think we gonna still have a Halloween.
I guess you can get dressed up at the crib, but
you know, I don't. How is it gonna happen? Are we gonna have a Halloween parade?
Are you buying your pumpkin spice stuff nonetheless?
I hate that flavor.
I don't even know what it is. I've never had a pumpkin spice.
I don't like the flavor of pumpkin. Nothing.
It's the white version of
sweet potato.
Sweet potato. It's sweet potato with mayonnaise and raisins.
We can't even have sweet potato season. It's pumpkin season. Damn, can we get at least sweet potato season?
They're like, ooh, we got some seasoning.
Candy yams.
Yeah, that's really what it is. They're like, ooh, it ain't bland no more. Oh, this is spicy.
Right.
Spicy. Right. No, that's cinnamon, bitch.
That's cinnamon.
That's cinnamon and nutmeg.
That's nutmeg and allspice. Come on now.
Girl.
Oh man, and of course, and hopefully that didn't come up. My phone was just ringing. Corey trying to FaceTime me.
Look, you said call. He said, Corey,
right.
call me
like,
again.
Ooh, call me again, Corey. Call me again.
I'm dead.
I know. I do feel like, you know, like fall is my favorite time of the year. It just like, and it's really more for like the weather and the outfit choices. Like I love layers. Yes, sweater. Like I love the layers. I love like the jackets. I love that you can put on, bring out the boots and like, you know, just, and even if it's just to walk around the neighborhood.
Right, to look cute real quick. Stun on these hoes.
Really cute. I love it. Like
I miss that about Chicago.
Yeah.
Because I don't get that in Atlanta.
Fall always reminds me of that picture of Lenny Kravitz when he's wearing that really big oversized blanket scarf.
Woo! I know that's. Oh, speaking of Lenny Kravitz, y'all saw him on the Men's Health cover.
The Men's Health, he looks so good.
That man is sexy.
And cut.
At 54.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. You could see. I was a little disappointed because you could still see like some of like the editing of the photos. Like I wish it would have been a little bit, but the fact that there's still the template for that to even exist is
they ain't about to edit that on this body.
Okay, stop. I'm dead.
I'm just like, talk about sweet potatoes,
girl.
I'm dead. I'm so dead.
That man, Jesus.
I'm not a big fall person. I love the season of fall in the sense of I think it's beautiful outside. The mosquitoes are gone. Hallelujah. Because they be tagging my ass. But I'm such a nudist in the sense of like I don't like wearing layers. I get hot very easy. She thick girl, you know. So like, you know, this heat.
She's a nudist down to a Speedo, though. Let's get that clear.
No, clear. Yeah, you're right.
We learned that a few weeks ago.
Right. We're talking about the new features.
No, that's public. That's public. I'm talking about at my home. I don't know how many episodes ago, but the question was like, when do you feel you're sexiest?
Yeah.
And I've always said like, I love just being in like t-shirt and my underwear, or just lounged around in my underwear, or like,
he likes to be a Dina Howard.
I like honestly, me being in like a big hoodie and my underwear is like, I love that feeling.
But see, that's fall season.
Know, like,
that's fall.
No, it's not, because my legs get cold.
Oh.
So I have to wear. I got on sweatpants right now. Normally, community. Now this is I don't know this, but normally when we recording, I ain't got no pants on. I'm normally in my underwear with the top.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that Zoom in all the time. We got a wig or whatever we got on. Like, I'm literally from waist up.
That's new information.
I worked that way.
She don't have to prove this on our next episode.
Right, exactly.
But it's fall now, so there's
got
to be like in my sweat.
Right. Give the community a little show, boo.
No, I forget which episode. There was one time where I stood up and I was like, "Oh, let me come back down," because I had my underwear.
You did say that.
I did. I was like, "Oh, I had to show my underwear a little bit." But
that's funny. 87 episodes, and we don't learn that Jerrell ain't got no pants on.
Okay. Look, there's a reason why I'd be like t-shirt with no panties on.
Do you sleep in the nude?
So close to me. I do sleep in the nude. I love.
Do you sleep in the nude?
Yeah.
I sleep like fully clothed.
Because I get hot with no clothes on. So.
Look, same. I do, and also like I toss and turn quite a bit, and I hate. For some reason, I get a fear of like suffocating myself. Like then my shirts would get cut up, and then like, because I've done that where I woke up and like I had a crew neck shirt on I was sleeping in, and it was like wrapped around my neck, choking me. And in my dream, someone was choking me. So they were choking me in my dream, and I woke up to my shirt choking me.
All my life, I had to fight.
Look, okay.
Even in my sleep.
It was traumatic.
You told Haynes to beat me.
Right.
Fruit of the Looms. Who this here?
Right. Fuck you, Calvin.
Fuck you, Calvin. Fine by me.
I hate you, Calvin Klein. I hate you. Oh my Lord!
You better bash Mr. Head in and think about heaven later.
We're gonna have to have an episode where we talk about dreams. I don't know if y'all dream, but
I dream music to this day. Even the other night, I literally I wake up with melodies all the time, to the point my phone is full of me almost sleep beatboxing or something music. I just did it the other night, and I forget. So I have to go
you'll
back.
wake up, so then you'll like do some music based off of what you heard in your dream or what you're saying in your dream?
Sometimes, but a lot of times I feel like I've moved on to the next whatever thought comes out of me, you know. But literally the other night, woke up, and it's so weird now. It's almost like multi-layered that like sometimes in my sleep, I'm trying to tell myself to wake up to remember it, because I know I'm not going to remember it from my sleep if I don't do it. So like even in my sleep, I'm almost fighting with myself to trying to see if I'm going to wake up or not to remind myself. It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Dewan, do you dream?
I dream.
I dream
seldomly. I dream seldomly, but when I do, my dreams come true. And it's weird because it's like I dream about the most insignificant things, but then like, so for example, I remember I had this reoccurring dream when I was in high school that I was sitting at the end of a stairs looking into a room that had like glass, like mirrored glass and mirrors like all along the side. And then fast forward, I think a sophomore or junior in college. I'm working in a Hallmark store as a stock boy. My little desk was at the end, at the bottom of the stairs, and I looked out and there was a Precious Moments like display cabinet that ran the whole, like it literally was the exact thing that I had dreamed years prior. And that happens all the time. And it's never anything like that I can use. It's never like, you know, make this decision. Yeah. It's more about like,
it ain't a lot of numbers.
No. No,
that happens to me too.
Really
Isn't that
weird.
Creepy too?
It's really weird. And you know what's also weird is like when I get really, really high, like if I'm doing edibles, I got this new thing of edibles. I got a new connect in New York. And these gummies are like something else. But when I get really high, like this past weekend, I have a really hard time telling the difference between what's reality and what's in my own imagination. So like, I remember we were watching the Fenty fashion show this past weekend. Yeah, I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch it, but we were watching the Fenty fashion show this past weekend. Loved it. And then we went back and watched the her show from last year, which I had never seen. But I was so high that as we were watching it, I literally in my head thought, I've seen this before. Oh yeah, I see. Like as things were like, I couldn't tell what was coming next, but like as I saw it, I'm like, I'm remembering it. So then I was like, am I remembering it because I'm just so high and I'm just fucked up by thinking, or did I actually remember it and because I'm so high, I don't remember watching it? Like that's the kind of shit that goes on in my head. It's fucked up.
See for me, it's a little both of that. Like I can't trust my dreams anymore. Because growing up, I used to have dreams that come true a lot, especially when it came to death. I've saved my grandfather from dying, like in the middle of this. Like I woke up from a dream. I called my grandma. She turned over, and he was having a stroke. Like right there in that moment. I have saved someone from jumping off of a bridge because I've had a dream about it, and I literally walked away from school, saw the man jumping off the bridge. So like I've had these dreams actually come to fruition and like actually do some stuff. But as I've gotten older, I feel like I've also kind of ignored them. But then like now my emotions have started to manifest in my dreams too. And so if I go to bed angry, my dreams are so vivid that like they feel almost real. Like I've woken up crying. Like I've literally will be having a bad dream, and like I wake up and I have been crying. Like it's just tears running down my eyes. I've literally woke up laughing and stuff like that. So my dreams are like so effing bizarre. Like yeah, and really vivid that I'm like, they almost scare me in a sense, because I'll be like, bitch, are you crazy?
Do you ever have a dream so vivid that like you have like you were talking about like a physical reaction? You know, like for example, I have dreams where like if I'm like, the dreams that I don't have that are telling the future are like so vivid that like I'm physically reacting to them. Like if I'm getting ready to jump or whatever, my legs are moving.
Yes.
I've hit Adam a couple of times because I was fighting somebody. They're like, you ain't going, you know. And Adam's like, ow!
I literally like motherfucking wood.
For real, like 3 weeks ago, I had a dream that Fizz was like he was like playing me. Like there was like some dude on the side and like, you know, was like lying to me, and I found this shit out. And like in my dream, I went to go like give him the hands of God. And I woke up, and I was like mid ready to slap him. Like I woke up, and my hands were like, huh? And I was like, ooh.
That wasn't real.
That was not real.
I haven't had like the fighting dreams before. Yeah, but like I've had like the ones where like you have like the deja vu moment. You're like, hold on, and it's weird when you see it about to happen. Like in real life, you're like, oh shit. Like it's like literally the second before you had that premonition. Like, hold on, I've seen this before. Oh shit, I just saw that, and I had a like. It's weird how that happens.
Doesn't that make you feel like you're like in the Matrix? You know what I mean? Like it's just so bizarre to have. It is like
bizarre.
Yeah.
And like, and I guess for me, like, obviously I come from like parents that are pastors, so like in the Bible, there's just like dreams, like people that like were dream readers and things like that. So like dreams always have been like a significant thing that I kind of understood even growing up. So they don't always freak me out. There's sometimes they freak me out. Like you say, like literally I've had times where I've either been crying in the dream and wake up and I'm like crying, or laughing in the dream. I wake up and I'm like chuckling, and I'm like, why am I chuckling?
Have you guys ever died in your dream?
I've never.
I die all the time in my dreams.
No, I've had times where I try to run and I can't run in my dreams. Like I'm running like slow motion. Like,
I've drowned. I've been buried alive. I shot people. I've killed people. Like when I tell y'all,
here having what is that GTA? What's that one? That game? That game?
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto.
I'm for real. Like I've had some crazy ass dreams where
I've had dreams where like I might get shot and I'll wake up before I die, maybe. But like I haven't had a dream where like I've actually died in the dream. Like it's like the point where I get hit and then I literally wake up and I'm like, oh, that was fucked up.
No, like I've literally died hundreds of times in my dreams at this point. Like, and there's been hundreds of times where I was like some type of fucking serial killer. Like I want to say, what was it? Thursday last week, I had a dream that I was like this suburban house killer. Like I was like killing these white people in this suburb of Minnesota. And then like, I don't know, like it's crazy. Like, and then like the police were on my case and they were outside and I was like, oh fuck, I didn't kill these people. There's bodies here. How am I gonna get out of this house? Like, I didn't have some crazy fucked up dreams, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Wow. Where I literally started questioning myself and be like, do I need to be on some medicine? Like, do I need help for my sanity? Because for real, like I want to do one of those studies where they monitor me when I'm sleeping.
Oh, like your sleep patterns and all that? Yeah.
Yeah, because I would be very curious to see
your brain activity just going. Community, let us know some of your crazy dreams. We'll put this as a post. That'll be interesting to see what they say.
We need the whole story, and if you got pictures too.
Right, we want the good stories.
Right, exactly.
Oh man, but I don't know. I think that we kind of hit everything on the list this week, but usually we don't.
That's true.
Oh wait, one last thing. Did you see them opening that sarcophagus, that Egyptian shit?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I did.
No, like my spirit was too afraid for that. Like,
right.
I just told y'all about my dream, so there's no way in hell I could watch that after the shit I dream about on a regular basis. I couldn't.
It's just it's a shame the disrespect for like
so disrespectful.
Like African culture, like everything out of the motherland is like a fucking something to be exploited. Even our fucking dead people and ancestors, like it's so disgusting. Like you look at these museums and you look at all the shit that they stole, you know, like
looted,
Black Panther, right. You know, in Black Panther, you know, they had it right. You know, when what's his face was in there walking around the museum, it's like,
Michael B. Jordan.
You know, it's just like, you know, it's just so fucking disrespectful. And I get the archaeological aspect of it, but at a certain point, there's a morality thing. It's just like, you know, if your technology is not at a place where you can study these things without disrupting them, then it's not right for you to study them.
Right.
Lord. Oh, I do have one other thing I want to ask y'all because we got a few more minutes. And I wanted to ask you, Dewan, because I watched the Fenty show. What was your take on the Fenty show Volume 2? I'm very curious.
First of all, I was high as fuck. And I felt
so Rihanna was proud. Rihanna was proud. That's how you have to
right. It was a delight. I honestly felt like these edibles, y'all. Oh my god, they last for hours. I literally took them at like 3:00 in the afternoon. Didn't watch the Fenty show until like 10:30 at night, and I was so fucking high. Like it was crazy. And literally, I was watching the Fenty show, and I was like, "This bitch is like eye fucking me through this show." Like it was such a sexually charged fashion show, is to me, anyways. Now I might have to watch it again with some fresh eyes, but like it was so sexually charged, and not in like a lewd kind of way, but it was like to me it was sexually charged in the way that I think that Rihanna is sexy. Like you know, there are moments that are very like there was when everything was like all red and everybody was wearing things that were very like sharp, you know, like that were cut in and like bondage like or whatever, and then was a whole other scene where things were a little bit more loose and like they had the boxers and all that kind of stuff, and tons of like really great images of like different body types and very gender fluid, and the music, oh my god, all the Kendrick Lamar and the like, it was just so
Miguel and Frank Ocean,
like,
and
it was so incredible. And like to see like, you know, Jaden Smith and Paris Hilton and, you know, like all
Willow
these
Smith. Willow Smith.
You know what I'm saying. I told you I was high.
She said these bald-headed kids. It wasn't
I could not.
They bald-headed.
Right. Well, you know, it was an improvement. But like, it was so cool to like, it was literally like a visual experience.
I'm gonna need to watch it on the edible you had, because I felt the opposite, if I'm being honest. Like, I thought it was very artistic, and I agree with you on the sexual part. Like, and not in a lewd way, like you said. Like, I think it was very much like sexual, like in an empowering way. Like, this is who I am, and I'm proud of it, you know. And I felt like the choreography was amazing. I love
Man, is such a great choreographer.
That choreographer was just amazing.
Yeah.
The only thing I did not like was the fact that I felt like I couldn't see enough of the garments. You know what I'm saying? Like, compared to the first one, where there was a lot more runway walking around and the garments, you know, I felt like it didn't showcase the actual clothing. Artistic wise, I thought it was unbelievable. I thought it looked amazing. I love how empowering and encouraging it was. Everyone looked badass. I love the men in there. I love the big men in there.
He was sexy as hell.
He was getting it. And there was this
100%.
There was this one brother in the Fern Gully scene. Like, he opened it up. He was dancing his ass off.
With the blonde hair?
Yeah, with the blonde hair. He did
I loved his
amazing.
skin tone. His skin tone, like the lighting of that scene to me against his skin tone was everything.
Yeah, I thought it was good in that aspect.
I felt like this fashion show was, let's be clear, you know, this is not a luxury brand. You know, you're talking about a price point of like $15 to $35, you know, on average, you know. So it's not like this was like a luxury experience. I felt like this fashion show was more about the mood and less about the garment. And also, when I say the mood, I also mean the mood and kind of like elevating like people and representation. Like, I feel like Rihanna has become kind of like the voice for the under voice, and providing a space that puts at the center different body types, sexual orientations, physical representations, like all these things that are kind of like taboo. And I feel like it was more of a focus on like that element of diversity and proud celebration of you be you, no matter who you are. You can be in our shit, and it don't even matter what our shit looks like. You're gonna be in our shit, you're gonna be sexy. Versus like, you know, like a Victoria's Secret fashion show, which is like, I'm trying to sell shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like how like she did apologize to the Muslim community, because they did use a song that utilized, I guess, a lot of just the Muslim religion, which is kind of against the religion. So I like that she did put out that statement, and she owned it. She's like, you know what, that wasn't the intent, but it was a careless mistake, so that's on me. So I apologize for that. But that scene though was probably one of my favorite scenes though. That's the sad thing, you know. It's just like Shea Coulee came out looking
Shea Coulee.
Shea Coulee's everything.
Like,
was that the scene where she was voguing down the industrial? She looks good.
So that whole scene, like the choreography from like that whole warehouse scene was insanity. I was like, Paris, you choreographed this shit out of this.
And the best part is like if you were looking in the background, like because everybody in the background, they were still doing something. Everybody was still, you know, like they paid attention to the whole.
They did this one thing where the dudes were like, and it said,
and
I was like, I don't know what dance move that is, but that was everything. I put it on IG today. I was like, that is fucking everything.
Yeah.
But
I love how they play with like the masculine and femininity of dancing. You know, like even the guys had moments where they were like, you know, doing like stuff. But then at the same time, then they followed up with that hard, like it was.
I don't know how they did all this in COVID. Hopefully everybody was tested. I assume they were, but how they found the time to do all that. Kudos to you, Rihanna. So
it was a lot.
I feel maybe overall, I think I might have liked last year's a little better, and it might just because it was just so different at the time. So now I know that she's probably going to do this, so it might have a little bit of that in it. But then again, it's just like you did this song in COVID still, so I don't know. Like,
I'm impressed. I'm still impressed.
It's like I'm still like shocked and shooketh.
Yeah,
So
you know,
but we still need an album, Riri. There we go. That's all I know.
We can end on that. I felt that. Absolutely.
So community, continue to chime in, continue to say you ask your aunties, continue to subscribe, share with your mama, your daddy, your baby mama, daddies. Vote, vote.
Yes.
Because early voting is starting for a lot of people now. So please get out there. I've seen lines already in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And Black folks, or all folks, make sure that you're filling out your ballots appropriately, especially if you're mailing in, and you can request to have another ballot. So make sure you're tracking your ballot. If you track it and it said that it was invalid or it was rejected, request another one. Okay, so do it early so you can follow and make sure that if there's anything wrong with it, you can get a corrected one in time.
Get your witnesses, because I saw in South Carolina, the Supreme Court there ruled that, or it might even been the overall Supreme Court ruled that now you still got to have a witness in South Carolina, even though you're doing the mail-in ballot to stay away from people. Just be diligent. Like this, you're going to have to be the most diligent of your life during this cycle.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Stay safe out there. Wash your hands, wash your legs, wash your ass, wear your mask, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
I'm trying to figure out why did get all the naked people up in Regina
Watchman.
Yeah, why they have that in that, but not yet. I mean, you see butts.
Yeah,
but that's
like, I need to see Dang-a-lang. I need to see all of it.
Dang-a-lang, come on. I want you to touch the Dang-a-lang with the back of my throat.
I know. Ooh, gargling, bitch. I know that's right. Ew.
I can't even.
This episode is rated X. I always look at DeJuan's every time I like chop it up because he always does something. Usually it's like a little, or like he does like a little smize. Oh, it's too funny. All right, one more for good measure.